Welcome back to Parlor City Voice, a podcast about what's happening in and around the great city of Bluffton, Indiana. I'm Councilman Rick Elwell, along with Bluffton Mayor Scott Mincer, and this is episode 10 as we come to you from the back room of the Bourbon MD in downtown Bluffton. And I want to thank the Bourbon MD for working with us on this for 2 more episodes, and we can sell these things by the case, Scott.
I love it. I love it. Double digits.
Our podcast is being brought to you in part by Felger Hart Residential Services, where if you got a problem with your furnace, hey, air conditioning season's right around the corner. You might want to think about getting that air conditioner checked out and cleaned up.
Is it around the corner?
Well, I'm
Are
hopeful.
You sure?
I'm trying to be an optimist.
Yesterday.
Yeah, okay, fine. We're not there yet, but we will be. It won't be long.
That's why it's HVAC, so heating.
Yes, yeah. Quinn, our producer behind the cameras. Quinn, how are you today?
I'm superb. How's everyone else doing?
Yeah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's get into it. We have a busy podcast.
Time for the board?
Yeah, let's get the board out. We'll just go. Let's go for it. Go for it early. Get the big board out. Don't break that coffee cup there. That's important.
Oh, that would be tragic.
It would be. Lead line replacement. This is something we're deep in the middle of phase 1 of, and I'm going to let you work on this because this has been your thing.
Yeah, so we've been, our contractor has been out potholing, and I gave you a couple pictures of what potholing looks like. It's basically creating a hole and exposing the service line pipe and trying to determine what that material is. And we're trying to determine whether it's lead or galvanized, and if it is, then it's subject to getting replaced at no charge to the resident. So we're going around the entire community. We have to be able to identify all those lines and determine what material those lines are made of.
I was just going to say, given the value of the project, like the whole big enchilada, right? It's like 28 million, the whole thing. This is phase 1, so this isn't that. But you'd think there'd be a more technical term other than potholing, like underground, like water distribution inspection tour or some highly technical. We just call it potholing.
Yes.
And
It's too many syllables.
Because now with spring in Indiana, I've been potholing everywhere I go, and it's a whole different thing. All right, I'm done. We'll move on. So I'm done.
Is there a just saying?
No, not yet. No, we haven't got there yet.
So,
anyway,
we've been potholing, and we're getting to the point where we're going to start actually doing the replacements.
Okay.
Now, you cannot get your line replaced unless you complete a right of entry form. And we've talked about this on numerous podcasts that you have to complete that right of entry form. You can go onto the city website. There's an online form you can complete. It's very easy to complete. You can come to your utility office, get a paper copy, complete it there. And this is the area of town that we're working on. So it's really sort of the west side of town, from Miller Street, from Lancaster Street, Miller Street, all the way down to West Central Street. So if you're on one of those streets, there's also some north-south streets in there as well. But if you're on one of those streets, it's very likely you're on the list. We need your right of entry form.
You have to sign the form or you don't get the line replacement.
So next is we're going to go out and we're going to hang door hangers. And this is what the door hanger is going to look like. So we're going to try multiple attempts to contact you. We're sending letters. We're hanging door hangers. We're going to start having to make phone calls, and you may even get a knock on the door. But until we hear from you, you cannot get your line replaced. So the easiest thing is go on the city's website, fill out the online form. If you live on any of these streets, you see your neighbor, let your neighbor know, but we've got to get that right of entry form. No cost to you. There's a little bit of inconvenience because we do have to do the potholing and we will have to actually run the line, but you're going to get a brand new line right into your home at no charge to yourself.
Lead-free.
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 So.
All right. So you were gone for a few days.
I was gone for a few days, and I have this app on my phone where every time the fire department gets dispatched, I get a text message. And man, I was getting
your phone was busy.
It was blowing up.
It was nuts.
I just want to give a shout out to all of the departments in the city that helped out to get us back up and going. I know there are some people who had some service outages. Maybe a few hours, but not many that were much longer than that. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and I think it's worthwhile to talk about that a little bit. First off, 911 is handling all of those calls. So if someone calls because their service is out, if someone calls because they see a line down or a tree down, it's going to 911, and they're trying to dispatch all the appropriate services.
Didn't they set a record?
They set a record? They set a record.
Yeah.
Almost 2 times what the previous record was.
Wow.
So many calls that literally at one point in time, they had 40 calls in the queue waiting for dispatchers to dispatch.
It was insane.
That was how many calls 911 was trying to process.
Yep.
So 911 is trying to dispatch fire. They're trying to dispatch our electric utility company to get out. Fire because people, there may be a spark has
Power
been
lines
created.
down. Yep.
And there's a fire. It could be a house fire. It could be just ground fire. But getting the fire departments out.
We had a couple semis blow over.
We had semis that actually blew over, literally blew over.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And then you've got the police who are trying to direct traffic. And you might think, well, that's not a big job, but it actually is a big job because once that power line is down, we have to make sure that one, people aren't going down that road for their own safety, but because once crews get down there, we need to give those crews the freedom to be able to operate.
Yep.
So we've got our street department out helping with debris. We actually had our wastewater department out helping block traffic. So they would take one of their vehicles out and use their vehicle as a barricade. Because as you can imagine, number one, you're running out of barricades, and number two, the barricades that you're putting up are being blown down, right?
Yeah.
So,
I had to drive to Bern to get my trash can. Did I tell you that?
all the way to Bern. Did you find it?
I did. The upside is I got some patio furniture out of the deal, like part of a table and 2 chairs. So it was a win-win.
So you're hoping for the next one.
Well, I mean,
okay,
you got to find that silver lining.
So lines, trees down all over the place, people without power, our electric department literally running from one spot to the other trying to get power restored.
Chaos. It was almost chaos.
And again, just the cooperation, the interdepartmental cooperation that goes on behind the scenes that people just don't see, I think is very impressive. The other thing I want to give a shout out to is our street department because they're responsible for our compost area. And they saw this storm coming, and so they made sure they cleared out our compost area knowing
Make enough room.
that all of this was going to be ending up in that compost area.
Yeah.
So the foresight to know that we've got to do that ahead of time to be prepared for it is just a testament to our crews. So shout out to our crews, shout out to our first responders, shout out to dispatch for making that happen. We're sorry that people had some short-term outages, but people were working really hard behind the scenes. And sometimes you wonder, you staff for events like this, right? You don't staff for the everyday occurrences.
And that's a great point because I've had people in this job over the last 7 years say to me, well, seems like there's a lot of people sitting around. Well, okay, until something like this happens.
Right.
I mean, you have to understand that you have to plan logistically for being able to take care of an entire community of 10,000 plus people. So yeah, they might have sat around for a few minutes here or there, but they're out when this is going on.
That's right.
They're out in the middle of the night when it's the dead of winter. They're digging a hole at
in
5
the worst
below.
conditions possible.
Yeah, so come on, lighten up. Oh yeah.
So the other thing I want to talk about is our 311 app. And I want to make sure people are aware of this. So you can download a free app. It's called See-Click-Fix. And it'll ask you what city you're from. And if you type in Bluffton, this app is going to pop up. And it's got some useful information on the app. But what it really allows you to do is if you're walking around and you see a concern, it'll geolocate exactly where you're at. You can take a picture of whatever the concern is. It'll ask you what type of concern it is, and it'll directly send that issue to the department that's responsible. So if you're out walking around, you see a pothole, one of the favorite things you like to talk about all the time, snap a picture of that pothole. It'll automatically identify what street you're on, identify it as a pothole, it'll go directly to our street department, and they'll be tasked with getting that sorted out as quick as possible. If you see some trash or some other issues that you want to make the city aware of, this is a quick and easy, convenient tool. Pop your phone out, snap a picture, and we're on it. You can also do it through the website. It's through the Report a Concern button, but the app is really, really convenient. I use it. I do a lot of walking when weather's convenient.
Yep, I've got it on my phone.
And when I see it, I pull that app out, and because I know that I don't need to go into work the next day and email the street department. The app's going to take that right to the street department that very second.
See, click, fix. That's the app.
So download it, and great way to communicate with the city.
All right. We haven't talked about this for a while. This is on the south end of our community.
Yeah, I don't know that we've talked about this at all, actually.
I don't think we have on the podcast. I think you're right.
So this question actually came up through a Facebook thread, and someone said, well, you know what the city needs?
No, we need
They need an overpass.
Over the railroad.
To get over the railroad to get you to the west side of town.
Guess what?
It's actually
It's a thing.
in the works. It is a thing.
Yeah.
Now, I think when most people talk about that, they're thinking about an overpass like in downtown.
No.
Right?
Yeah. It's not.
And that is really complicated. If you look at downtown, there's lots of homes, there's lots of properties, logistically and cost-wise, to put an overpass downtown, not impossible, but very, very difficult, very, very expensive. But we are cognizant that trains are getting longer, and if we need to get our first responders, our fire department, which is on the east side of town, to the west side of town, we don't want that to get blocked by a train. So this project has been in the works for a long time. Actually, it started when we first came on council back in 2020. So here we are 6 years later. We still have not broken ground on it. That just shows you how long it takes to get these projects engineered, funded, and developed. But this is a project that we got an NDOT grant for. It started out to be over a $10 million project. NDOT's paying 80% of it. The rest of it is being split between the county and the city. The city's picking up 2/3 of the 20%. The county's picking up 1/3. But where this bridge is going to go, it's going to go on 200 South, and this is the railroad crossing that the bridge will eventually cross. So this is probably still another 3 years out by the time we get it done. Probably can't see it very well on the broadcast, but this is the architectural drawings, or the engineering drawings of the bridge structure from the side view and from the top view looking down. But 200 South is the area, and again, a lot less congested. We're dealing with largely farm ground, but we can get that bridge over the railroad tracks and give us first responder access to the west side of town.
And our trains just seem to be getting longer.
Yep.
They do. So we need this. Yeah, absolutely.
So again, we're probably looking 2030 by the time this happens, which means we'll have worked on it for almost a decade from the time that we funded it to the time that it actually gets completed. That's how long some of these things take to get done.
Yes. Would you call that a red tape factor? Is there some
very
red tape
much
in that?
a red
maybe.
tape factor.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. Let's
Have
talk
you?
about it. Yeah, a little bit. I'll let you say your piece on it.
Yeah, so this plane shows up with this big banner that says Wells wants an airport. And the reason we're bringing it up on this podcast is that the city is not funding an airport.
We have zero part in this.
I'm sure there's a lot of advocates for an airport. By all means, if that makes sense, awesome. Not trying to downplay an airport, but do not call the city asking about how much money the city is paying for an airport. This is not our project. If it makes sense for the county,
by all means.
by all means.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I won't have to travel to Fort Wayne to get to spring training in Florida. I could fly out of the Wells County Airport, but not a city project, even though this plane, this banner sits in city limits.
It's not our project.
It's not our project.
Yeah.
I wanted to make another pitch for the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. So April 9th, it's coming up.
I'll be there.
We may not get another podcast in before that happens. I don't know. We'll have to look at the schedule. Quinn would have to get it posted really quick, I think.
I'm not that fast.
You're not that fast. So April 9th, 7:30, Whitley Yates. Look, I'm telling you,
She's cool.
she is very cool.
Yep.
It's going to be a great talk. We want to pack the house here. We want to maybe set a record. I don't think we're going to set a record. I would love to set a record. I'm a pretty competitive guy, but plenty of seats available. $20 to come see Whitley talk. Get a good meal, good breakfast.
She's been on just about every news media network.
Yep, every news network
find.
out there,
Yep.
and she's going to be right here in Bluffton. So please, RSVP to City Hall. Great breakfast, great event.
Okay.
Scott, let me interrupt you here. I just looked at my handy dandy calendar, and typically, just a little behind the scenes for everyone, we record on Tuesdays. That Tuesday would be April the 7th. And then we post these typically on Wednesday. So that would be April the 8th. This is being hosted on April the 9th. If you could somehow work your magic, your mayoral magic, into getting her to being a guest, perhaps, on the podcast.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, throwing
That's
down a
great
challenge.
Come on now. I know you can do it. You're a man of many talents. We'll get it out
Mayoral,
the next day.
how'd you say that?
Mayoral magic.
Mayoral magic.
I like it. All right, we'll see if we can make that happen.
All right.
I know you love felines.
Look, I have dogs. I don't really have a cat. I've never had a cat named Frank. I like that though. I think it says a lot about
maybe
him.
now is the time.
My neighbor has plenty of cats, and they manage to make their way over to my property often.
Well, Frank is a 2-year-old male orange tabby, great cat, active cat, looking for someone to play with him. Let's give Frank a home, okay?
Do you know the thing about cats is everything they do on their terms, right? Like it's all about them. If they don't want to come to you when you call, they don't. If you don't feed them, they'll just bother you until you do. And I'm sorry, I'm good.
Does your dog not bother you when it's hungry?
All the freaking time.
All right. All right, Rick. What is this?
Water marker by the river.
No. You want to try again?
Leftover javelin from the ancient Greek games. Can I do one more?
Sure. I'll give you one more.
All right. The remains of a pogo stick from a really tall pogo sticker.
Are you trying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. This is
no
this
freaking
is
clue
you
what the-
trying.
I have no clue what this is.
So this is called a live steak.
Okay.
Does that help you at all?
Not a dang bit.
So this is
Is this a survey thing?
No, it's not.
Okay,
So this is
not
part
good.
of the Riverbank Stabilization Project along the River Greenway. So, right now the riverbank is falling into the river.
Yes, it is.
So we are actively working to stabilize that riverbank, and this is part of the process. So this is part of a willow tree. So in the winter, you go out and you cut off pieces of the willow tree. And you stick them down into the ground, and those bud and actually become willow trees.
So that's going to be a tree one day.
That's going to be a tree one day.
Okay.
And guess how many of these we did for this portion of the riverbank stabilization?
5,682.
Well, no, not quite that many.
Okay. See, you're asking me to guess. So any answer is a good answer.
900.
Well, that's pretty reasonable.
So we, in essence, planted 900 willow trees to stabilize the riverbank.
I think your photo is misleading.
Is it?
I think it's intentionally misleading because you obviously zoomed in very close on that thing. Had you have zoomed out, I might have had a better chance of guessing what it is.
I'm not here to give you good chances.
Clearly.
I'm here to make you struggle.
All right. You and everybody else. That's okay. My big
No,
shoulders.
struggle with this page.
Yeah, let's get this page flipped over. What's going on here? We have an award-winning Parks Department full of activities. Where do you want to begin?
Well, let's begin on Monday night movies on the plaza, because this is new.
This is new. This is new. And when I didn't realize we were going to land on Monday night, but I think that's a good idea. I like that, right? So we have 3 movies we're going to do, and I don't have the first one's in June. It's June the 8th, and there are a number of movies. So.
And Stylus, I mean, here, give a pitch for
Okay,
Stylus.
all right.
Go ahead.
So I
I'll
don't
give
toot
you
my own horn.
some
Okay.
rope here.
We're providing the laser video projector for this event and helping Brandy kind of get things situated and set up for sound and videos so that we have a great movie on the plaza.
I want to give a shout out to the foundation. They help provide some funding for this. I think Farm Bureau is going to provide popcorn.
See, that's a win. You know, I didn't know when I spoke with Brandy about this, because I thought it was a great idea. She explained to me how much she has to pay every time she shows a movie, and I just didn't know. I didn't know, you know. So I'm grateful that we got it worked out. So we have 3 movie dates. We have the 8th of June, July 13th, and then we have August 10th, and on the 13th they have a special guest, Indiana Wild, and face painting, so you can bring the kids.
Did you want to go ahead and say what the movies are?
Would you like me to?
I would.
Okay. How to Train Your Dragon, Zootopia 2, and what's this one? Oh yeah, the Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
How'd I do?
Nicely done.
Yeah,
did
thank
well.
you. You're waiting for me to stumble, aren't you? You're just waiting for it.
We're going to pull back that archive at some point.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Hey, on your side of the board over there.
So the Wells Community Aquatic Park will open. The mayor has deemed it will open on Memorial Day, and we've got swim lessons. So for kids grades K through 12, $20 for swim lessons.
That's cheap.
$20.
That's cheap.
In the brand new aquatic park.
My dad just threw me in. Said, "Here you go, boy."
I mean,
yeah, Quinn's like, "Yep." Lessons are good.
Do you get to enjoy the brand new aquatic park for $20? You're going to teach a child to swim. Awesome. Mm-hmm. We got tot swim registrations. These are for ages 2 to 3. $6. $6. Quinn, you need to get in on this.
You don't pay me enough for that.
What? You can't afford the $6?
That's 2 big chickens, Scott. Come on now.
And then we've got ages 4 to pre-K, $6 per student.
Yep.
So great opportunity to go check out the aquatic park and teach some youngsters to swim. We've got the Easter egg hunt coming up.
April 2nd.
The dog bone hunt, I think,
The
is
dog
on the
bone
same
hunt.
day.
That's a great idea. This is Wild Thing Kids Adventure. You can't see the photo very well, but this poor guy, I'm not sure if he's having a good time or not having a good time. Well, anyway, this is obstacles to conquer in the wild for kids ages 5 to 12. It's a half mile of running, climbing, crawling through the mud. I will pass.
My only request is you do not go from this to this. That's not allowed.
And so that's actually coming up June 27th at 9 a.m. at Lancaster Park. And then, of course, another plug for our City Gym membership, which you're passionate about.
And for a limited time offer now, Rick, because I know you've been holding off.
I have.
You've been waiting for a deal.
Truly, I have.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
$85 for a single membership, $115 for the family for the rest of the year. The whole year, Rick.
Wow. If
I was there today, Rick. I didn't see you.
I don't have a membership, how could I go?
Exactly. Set an example. Come on.
Moving on. I love this project. When this project was first conceived, I said to myself, this is part of what a great community does. And our community garden, our first annual community garden, is getting ready to kick off.
It is, and make sure on Monday that you look at our interview. Kylie Tomlin from Helping Hands was our interview guest, and she talked about food scarcity. So this is one of the things that we're doing as a community to try to help resolve some food scarcity. We've got multiple plots. They're all rented out. I think it was $10 to rent out a plot. But we're going to have a couple of plots that the actual community garden task force will plant themselves that people can come and forage from. So I think that's a pretty cool thing.
That's great. And with this goes on with some education, right? Like,
Yep.
so well, you're like, man, I'd like to garden. I don't know anything about it. Well, we can hook you up. June 3rd at 6 o'clock at the Parlor City Garden, we're going to have a gardening basics class. And I think that's fantastic. Entry level, getting you into gardening. We're going to talk about native plants and what makes a plant native. That's Wednesday, July 15th, there again at the Parlor City Community Gardens, 6 p.m. And then finally, flowers that Quinn can take home for himself. And I could see him in this, create his own bouquet to take home. It's the flower bar. And
I don't know what date that is.
it doesn't have a date on it. But
this is where you have to go to the parks page, or the community garden has their own Facebook page, can tell you all about it.
Yep.
And we're also going to have a class about freezing, preserving your harvest. So some freezing basics.
Looking forward to that.
So ribbon cutting, April 22nd, 3 p.m. Community garden. It's that time.
Oh yeah, it's time for Just Saying. We'll do away with the whiteboard. My goodness, it's been a couple weeks, hasn't it? You know, here's the thing. It's spring break around here, right? So I was on social media just the other day looking at everybody's spring break photos. You're posting palm trees and pool chairs. We're over here deciding whether or not we need to take sunglasses, a hoodie, a winter coat, or go to a tornado shelter, because you just don't know. And finally, you're posting palm trees and bikinis, and we're out there in a hoodie, shorts, with a bad attitude and a forecast that now simply says, good luck, right? Just saying. And here's the thing. If you didn't get out of town for spring break, we have a lot to offer here in Wells County, and I'm serious about this. There's no punchline here. You could visit one of our award-winning parks, right? Yep. You could stroll the River Greenway, weather permitting, or you dress accordingly. Take the kids to the library. There's tons of stuff to do at the Wells County Public Library. You could have lunch at Bummy's. Bummy's is open. That's a sure sign spring is here, or will be right around the corner. Spend the day exploring one of the many shops and businesses downtown. You could do that. You could check out the Historical Museum. Now, I think you have to do that by appointment right now. I'm not sure. All right, I don't know.
I don't know.
Of course, there's the state park. You guys know about the state park, right? There's endless trails. There's the fire tower, and don't forget about the buffalo. Heads up, though.
There's enough trails that you can run 5 miles.
I've heard that. The thing about the buffalo is, gentlemen, spring, early spring is mating season. So if you take the kids, be prepared. You might have to have some discussions on the way home. Now, I've got a few personal things that I throw into this. These are things that I think maybe I can interest you in if you're around town and, you know.
Okay,
I always find, what?
I need to pay close attention to this.
All right, so I always find spring is when the gas stations clean their slush machines. So there's nothing like a gas station slush. Quinn's having a cow over there.
Is that real? Where did you pull that from?
No, it's not real, but there's nothing like starting your spring break day with a gas station slush. Cherry's my favorite, by the way. Then I like to go down to the river. I go down to the river and I feed the carp. And you know what the carp like most? They like goldfish. It's ironic, isn't it? But they do. Just saying.
Did your street fair prize make it this far? If so, feed the carp.
No, I got one more.
Okay.
Then for
I'm all
fun,
yours, Rick. I can't wait.
for fun, I go out to the state park again because, you know, early spring campers are arriving. And it's you could spend an entire afternoon watching them try to back into their spots with help from their wives. I think this is some real homespun entertainment. If you couldn't afford to go out of town, or maybe your schedule just didn't cooperate, you know, you could do that. Just saying.
Well done.
Thank you.
I don't know about the whole slushy thing.
I'm
but
telling you, nothing beats a gas station
aside from
slush.
that,
I raised 2 boys, gentlemen. Let me tell you something. Whenever we were going to ponder a serious topic, we always went to the gas station and got a slush first.
That's fatherhood.
See?
That's fatherhood. 100%.
100%. Is that going to wrap episode 10? Are we done?
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
Well done.
If I'm back for episode 11, we'll see you next time. This has been Parlor City Voice with Councilman Rick Elwell, Mayor Scott Mentzer, and behind the camera, producer Quinn. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.